Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to go from short, boring hair to long, fiery hair. First, I have Firefly and Lava by Pulp Riot. Then I've got Red Hot and Red Velvet from Sparks. I also have a color bowl, which apparently I didn't show here, a color brush, and some gloves. You'll also need hair extensions. I got mine on Amazon. I was a little bit disappointed by how thin they are at the ends, but they're very blonde, which is great if you're going a lighter color than what I did. I also have 200 grams of hair here. I used 2 packs. I like a lot of hair, you might not need as much. I'm starting with yellow, which is my lightest color, and I personally think an ombre looks better if the lightest color is at the bottom. The reason I like to start at the bottom is because when you're coloring the hair, the color likes to stick to the brush, so it kind of pulls up when you're coloring it. And if you're using a dark color and starting at the top, it can get a little bit annoying when hairs you don't want to color are getting colored with the darkest color. Now I'm going right above the yellow color with my orange Firefly color and doing the same thing, just painting and spreading it along, trying to get it as good as I can in the extensions and saturate it as well as I possibly can. After I've got my color as high up as I want, I take my brush and I smudge the 2 colors together. Don't skip this part, it's really important for blending. I know it seems obvious, but don't forget to flip over your extensions and color the other side. It's happened to me and you don't want blonde patches in your extensions, so just try to remember to color the other side. Next up, I'm taking the rest of my yellow and the rest of my orange and I'm mixing them with my Red Hot to create an intermediate shade between the red at the top and the orange. Looking back, I'm not entirely sure this was necessary because the color I made doesn't really look much lighter than the red velvet I put on top. Oh well though, I tried. Now I'm just repeating my last step and painting on the extensions and mixing them into the previous color. As I get closer to the top of my extensions, the hair gets a lot thicker, so I have to be a lot more careful here to saturate the hair. I find coloring extensions a lot harder than coloring my natural hair, just because it's more difficult to section the hair. The bigger your sections are, the more likely it is that you're going to miss spots. Next up, I'm taking my color Red Velvet and I'm mixing it at about a 1:1 ratio with conditioner. I'm then repeating the previous steps and saturating the top of the hair and blending it into the previous color. I'm taking a lot of care to make sure that I really saturate the top of the extensions. I don't want there to be any uncolored spots. I'm folding over the tops of the wefts and just making sure that it's all nice and colored right where the clips are going to be. As I soon found out after I washed out the extensions that the color at the top still isn't dark enough to match my natural hair color, so I had to color it again with something darker. I didn't record the process, but I used Ruby Red by Joico, and I didn't dilute it. I decided I was having a hard time fully saturating the weft, so I decided to fold it open more to really get in there. Opening the extensions further after I've already colored them is a little bit risky because it's easier to get color on places where I don't want color to be. As you can see, opening up this next weft, it was a lot harder for me to separate the colors because the color had started to dry. I separated it as well as I could without messing it up and I just colored the top. I actually ended up using a towel to cover up the lighter previously colored hair, just to make extra sure that I didn't get any color on it. I accidentally did get a little bit of red in the tips where I didn't want them to be, but luckily it didn't stain too bad. You can't notice unless you look really close, and it doesn't really show up on photos. It really sucks that the darkest color wasn't as dark as my natural hair color, because it didn't blend in properly, and when I colored it back in, it was a lot harder to blend into the lower color in the gradient, because I didn't have any color to smudge it into, if you know what I mean. It was just me brushing color onto dry hair. So I think next time, maybe I would have put in a little bit of conditioner there to just help give it something to bleed into. So I washed my hair, which I didn't record on camera, sorry, but I started with the darkest color and I rinsed that in the sink, and once that started to run clear, that's when I went down to the bottom of the extensions, just to minimize bleeding, and I used cold water. After the extensions have completely dried, I laid them out to decide how to cut them. I decided to make an 8-piece set of extensions. I'm doubling up both of my newly colored bundles of hair, and I'm making 2 4-clip wefts, 2 3-clip wefts, 2 larger 2-clip wefts, and 2 smaller 2-clip wefts. This will equal out to an 8-piece 200-gram set. The next step is fairly simple, just make sure you take your time and do a good job. If it's cold where you live, the glue will dry faster. I put the glue directly on the sewn part of the weft, then place the top part of the weft on top. I'm going to be completely honest with you, hot glue probably isn't the best method of going about things. If you want your extensions to last, hot glue probably isn't going to do it for you. It peels off really easily, but it works in a pinch. I'm not really looking for long-term security, as I think I'm going to take these extensions apart eventually and make them into tape-ins. The great thing about hot glue is it's easy to peel off without damaging my extensions. If you want this to be a lasting method though, I'd recommend using a stronger glue, something flexible. When it comes to actually gluing on the clips, I start from the sides. Then once I have the sides done, I have a better idea of how to center the clips in the middle. Before I apply glue to the weft, I place the clip directly below where I want to glue it. There are little holes on either side of the clip to make it easier to sew in. That's where you'll want to place each gob of glue. Make sure the glue goes through the holes, that way it's more secure. You can also put a little bit of glue on top of the holes for added security. If you followed the steps correctly, you should have a beautiful set of clip-in extensions that you made yourself. I hope you guys enjoyed my tutorial, and here are some after shots of what my hair looks like with the extensions. If you like my video, please subscribe, and you can also follow my Instagram, which will be linked below.